Hey guys, welcome to the Big Talk with Austin, and I'm your host Austin, joined by co-host Carson Moore, and we got not a lot of things to talk about. I honestly gotta say, not a lot of big things happened this month. It's been a little bit of a downer month on news, but last month we talked a lot. We went for like 2 hours, like that's made it to be like the longest episode that we've had of the year, and also the most watched episode of the year. So congrats on all of that. Yay. Uh Everyone did a great job on the supporting side of that. And so, but we got a lot of interesting here's to talk about. Anything before we get into it?
I don't think I have anything. I'm just excited to approach all the topics for this month. I would say there's a few big ones. A few.
Uh, oh, well, there's still big ones, but last month there was a lot more stuff
Yeah,
to
there was a lot of stuff going on. So
Um, but yeah, and if you guys are watching more like listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, welcome. Hopefully, you guys can check out the review show on YouTube so you can see the video version of the podcast episode or get more content out of as well. You get more content that way. But we're gonna move on to our first topic here. So, if you guys are not aware of, I did a review on a show called The Edge of Sleep that stars Mark Fishbach. That's his actual name. Most of you guys might know him as Markiplier, who has a YouTube channel and all that. And I was not a big fan of the show. And surprisingly, I didn't get a lot of hate because usually when you have a big fan base that supports somebody, and next they see some form of negativity go to that person, you get a lot of hate. Surprisingly, I didn't get that. I probably just they probably just clicked off in the first 5 seconds of that video. But so yeah, and one of the and this kind of involves one of the topics of the Edge of Sleep season 2. As so in this article, the direct has not confirmed a season 2 yet, but they have plans for a season 2. And so, but for the whole preparation for this topic, I made Carson actually watch the show because
terrible.
I hate talking about stuff and actually you have no opinion on it. And so because that's just because you haven't watched something, and there's been plenty of topics that we talked about and you're like, oh, I haven't seen it, such and such. And it's like, yeah. So, but yeah, so I forced him to watch it, not by himself. I rejoined, so I joined him on the watch. So I suffered once again, tried to give it another watch. And for the sake of that watch, we did an audio commentary on it, and it's not out yet. It'll be out next week. So it'll be basically a watch. It's a commentary where you be able to pull up Amazon Prime, and we'll do a whole entire countdown before each episode before starting it, and next so you can watch the episode at the same time while we commentate over it. So it's all based off of timing and all that, and it's kind of like an interacting session with you and I. And so I thought that would have been fun and kind of made the whole entire thing worth it. And I know for a fact he would not have finished the show if I wasn't there forcing him to finish it. And so
No, I wouldn't have even turned it on.
no, yeah, exactly. So
Uh,
so
no offense to him. Just not
trying
my style.
well, it was just terribly executed. So without going into spoilers, and before we I guess dive a little bit more into season 2, um and not trying to give away too much of your own opinion for the commentary side of sakes, what what are your thoughts
Good
really?
question. So here's a few things. I think the first thing to approach is obviously not obviously, but when you watch it, you'll be able to tell it's not really a high budget film by any means, or excuse me, not film, high budget show. Uh, One thing that I do want to take into consideration though is for the budget, which I was trying to find and I couldn't find it.
Yeah,
For
there's
the
no
budget, it
official
was probably
source.
given based upon what I saw article wise. I think that they actually did a pretty good job. It was it was entertaining and weird enough to be like, okay, I'm gonna keep watching it just because I'm curious what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Now, is it deserving of a season two? If you're somebody who doesn't want to wait for a or wants an answer, yes, make a season two because they really didn't talk about
They
anything.
didn't answer Jack in the first season.
Well, I mean,
So
like I said, it they have to build, right? It's a slow build. It was very slow build.
yeah.
Let's just be real.
Well,
But
but really, we're really well. You and when you guys check out the commentary, it'll be on only on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, by the way, for anyone curious. It won't be uploaded to YouTube. It'll be exclusively uploaded onto those platforms or any form of podcast platforms. But one thing that sticks out like a sore thumb is that they have the same conversation every 5 minutes, and it's like that's not pacing issues. That's writing issues.
yeah, there
So
was some writing issues. I would say that's a pretty fair statement. So, which is
for
unfortunate.
yeah, for season two, get better freaking writers. But the problem is they already have season two written. They're just waiting for Amazon to greenlight it, and I guarantee Amazon is going to because the only people that watch the show are Markiplier's fans, and that's the one thing about this whole entire show is that it has terrible freaking marketing. I don't know if I should have sent you his video, but he had no idea when this show was going to go on, like up at all. He had no idea what platform it was going to go on. Now I get there's NDAs and such, but I would think that you would have some form of strategy to, hey, we're gonna on this date we're gonna tell you uh what details we know about where it's going to go and what day it's going to go, so then you can prepare to tell people to go watch it and start a marketing campaign. They
Sure.
did jack. The show actually went up before they even the marketing. The show went on Amazon Prime before the marketing for the whole entire show, which
I
was
was going to
not
say, I
was
had
it,
never heard of it before you said something.
yeah,
So, yeah,
which the marketing wasn't even really. There was no marketing. It was just Markiplier uploading one video that involved the trailer, and Amazon uploading a short on their YouTube channel, and that was it. There was actually no marketing for this show. So any big like if you go to IMDb and you see like it being like at it, and which is funny, I find it ridiculous that it's like 8 out of 10 on IMDb. That is a rating from just fans. And so
yeah,
the whole experiment was also of the audio commentary, and the reason why talking about the Edge of Sleep possible season two is to get an outsider's perspective that
sure,
knows nothing about Markiplier, did nothing, like has no connections, no bias and all that. And people say like, oh, that's not bias is not a real thing. Yes, it is. Shut up. Especially the way you talk. And because I'm honestly upset because I really wanted to like it because I want him to be I want to support him, and honestly making 10 videos off of this one show is really kind of is supporting him in a way. If you guys really think about it, it's like, oh, you're just being negative. Technically I made more videos than you on this topic. So and like so I went out and watched a bunch of reviews to see like to get an understanding why people are liking this, like why is this so um positive receive. And when I click on those reviews, I get dumber after every single time I watch them. I got dumber because every for like 8 minutes straight, it'd just be someone saying it's good. Okay, why? I'm not gonna tell you why. It's just good. Oh, okay. How useful of a video? Kind of a waste of time if you're not gonna tell me what's good and what's not good. If you're just gonna say it's good, yeah, I really liked it. And there was one video I sent to you where I'm not gonna name drop anyone because I don't want anyone to get hated on. That's not the point of this. But there was these that involved these three girls talking about it for 3 minutes. And one of the girls didn't even watch the full show. They only watched one episode. They're like, "Yeah, I liked it. It was good." I'm like, "You didn't even watch the whole entire show. You really can't even give an opinion on it." And it's like, I understand, you know, and it's one thing when they upload a show episode by weekly, like that's a little bit different because you're going along with the experience. But the show's up. They're all up on Amazon Prime, and they're 20 minutes long. And
sure.
so,
So
but
here's the thing. But like I said, you have to remember from I'm an executive at Amazon. I'm really not. We sit here and we go, what's a low budget that probably doesn't need to be spent a lot, or a lot of money does not need to be spent on really marketing, right? He's a popular enough YouTuber and has like 38 million subscribers or whatever, and
Yeah.
12 or 15 million people on Instagram. It's smart. They took a low risk, low budget TV show, which actually rated consistently in the top 10 charts on Amazon Prime Video the first few
Yeah.
days that it released. And
But
it's smart. Now, is it a good show?
no.
I don't think so. No. However, one, you have to remember he's stepping out, going from YouTube personality, a legend in gaming, let's just be real, and is
Yeah.
now acting. Acting
He's
isn't
he's
great,
act he's
writing
acted
isn't great.
before. Like he's done some YouTube Red stuff.
Yeah,
So, but that's still different. That's YouTube. You
sure.
give it a bypass, and and people are still going into the perspective of that when they're watching this show, and I find that to be kind of odd. It's like they're two different leagues. See, YouTube Red, that's the minor leagues. Now you're in major leagues. Like it's like they're two different ball games at that point. And so you kind of have to go at them with two mind perspectives. Now, if you're just a regular person giving your opinion, that's whatever. I don't care. But when you have
Yeah.
a platform and you want to go tell someone to spend their 2 hours of their time on this little planet, you need to give me a reason why to go watch something.
Well, I mean, here's the thing though.
So
Like I said, it's not like they were marketing this as like the TV show of the century.
no,
I think they were just giving people something different to watch with a popular YouTuber who, you know, is something that is pretty popular. So uh,
yeah.
I'm not like super. I'm not super concerned about if it's a second season. Do I think it needs one? Maybe, maybe not. But if enough people watched it, it's a low enough budget film, and
Yeah.
Amazon wants to add more content, it's a huge win for them.
No, for
And
sure.
that to me is probably the most important thing. So if you're going to watch the show, to watch it to see excellent screenwriting or acting or creative content, probably not your show. However, if you just want something to have on in the background, that 25-minute episodes with slow burn,
I wouldn't even have
watch this one.
this. I wouldn't even have this on in the background. I would rather watch Joker at that point. Joker for they do.
Oh my goodness.
It's the same runtime and more and the same amount of pain, but more interesting. So um yeah. Uh to get more into like the season 2 side of things, they need to get better writers. Like
Sure.
before they even get into rolling cameras, they need to get better writers because these writers suck. And I looked at what they've worked on, and they only had like about other five projects that they ever worked on. This is like the biggest thing that they ever worked on. A air quotes biggest thing. When you have a like you throw Markiplier in it, that's what makes it bigger. And I guarantee you, if Mark wasn't in this show, people would have hated it.
Yeah,
I, I
potentially, yeah.
I guarantee you it would not have the same amount of positivity if he wasn't in it. And so and that's kind of like the big issue I have when it comes to any form of because when I was watching these reviews, I was listening to what they were saying. Not only they would repeat themselves like the show would, they would use words like "That's Markiplier's first time, so I'm giving it a bypass," and it's like that's not that's not your job to give it a bypass. Your job, if you have a platform, you're coming in trying to review something, you be I think it's like you need to be a little bit more fair than be like I'm gonna give it a bypass 8 out of 10. It's like it's one thing to say like yeah, it's not Markiplier's greatest performance, but I kind of give it a little bit bypass. But either way, the show is kind of like not that good. It's a little bit different if you put it in that light, but I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
get
I just think, like I said, it's some people will really like him.
just for the
So
sake of him being in it.
yeah, fine by me. It just seems strange to me, but like I said, people have different views. I think the biggest argument that we could make is that they need to be more. They need to realize that we're looking at from content, like a disclaimer. I would disclaim that, hey, this is my favorite YouTuber. I'm obviously going to be biased towards the show because I
Yeah,
really like,
and that's
like
not how they're doing it. No.
no, and I think that's the hard part. So, like I said, I would give it probably a solid 6.5, knowing what the budget was, and
I've seen a lot better stuff with a low budget than this show. That's
sure.
that's the
But I mean,
problem.
you also have to think about this was a pretty wacky. I thought it was a wacky TV show. I I thought it
Yeah,
was
I
very different.
thought, well, no, I thought the concept was really cool. I thought the imagery, like the opening scene with the mom that and actually opens her head, I thought that was cool. I thought that stuff was cool. But then after those first two episodes, nothing happens. They have the same conversation over and over, and half of the characters that you don't even like. Two of the characters are complete idiots and jerks. And so it's just like
Yeah.
there's you're not really rooting for anyone here. And like when you think of the dialogue, you have Matteo who like there's like who bursts out multiple times throughout the whole entire show. He when he realized like there's no hope, he goes like I survived 3 wars, and next when you figure out what he did, he was a drone pilot. You didn't survive jack, sir. You were miles away from the war flying a drone. The worst thing that could have happened to you is getting yelled from your sergeant that you've destroyed a
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar drone. So it's just there's lack of care to any of these characters. And that's the main thing that they need to work on. They need to explain a little bit more how does Mark's dreams from as a kid connect to the big elephant? Why is the elephant now taking over the world?
Who doesn't love
Why
the elf? Who doesn't love it?
yeah. Why are the whales the protectors? How are they the protectors? Are they just some mythical gods? Is that what they are? I don't. The show doesn't dive into anything of it, and it's supposed to. And the show's been hinting at like this whole entire time, like, oh, this is a world crisis. When you see about maybe like 10 bodies in
I
the
was
whole
gonna
entire
say like
show,
nobody.
it's like when they're walking in the hospital, they're and next when one of the characters go like, why are there bodies in the hallways? It's like there's only 2 to 3 bodies. That's pretty normal for like a hospital that isn't like dealing with a crisis. I think you're overreacting, sir. And next when they're in the town, it's completely empty. And next they find maybe like 4 bodies in the streets, not like
Yeah, but like I said, you can tell it's low budget. So it's
you can literally
I
take a PA, a production assistance guy, and be like, "Here, we need you for this scene. Get in the shot. Lay down real quick." You can
sure.
literally poll people. Like they don't like you only get paid for speaking lines. If you're in the shot, you don't get paid. I mean, if you do, it's pennies. You don't really get that much out of it. So you can pull someone out from behind the scenes and be like, "Here, we need you for the shot to give the illusion like, hey, there's this crisis going on, and there, lay there, do something." Um, but it also takes forever to get to the point. The show just drags forever. They could have easily pulled out 2 episodes. They could have honestly made this show like a 30-minute mini series on YouTube. This could have been uploaded to YouTube and have been
Yeah.
one video for like 30 to 40 minutes. So that's the big issues I have with it. And for season 2, they have 11 episodes written down. What are those going to be 10 minutes now?
Okay.
Are they
Well,
so and they want to do a 3-season arc. I don't even think this show barely has for a season 2. I don't because like
but they didn't establish the story, so they could definitely stretch it out. So, but
yeah.
I would
Uh,
just tell people go watch it. Let us know what you think.
Well, you can watch it while we commentate over it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So that's the only way. I say that's probably the best way to watch the show. Not just because of course, of course, I'm getting something out of it. No, it's just that, uh, no, it's the whole point of that exclusive episode is that I guarantee you're going to get way more, you're going to get something way more out of it while listening to our commentary at the same time while watching the show than just straight up watching the show by itself because of how slow and boring it is. And
I just It's not terrible. It's just not good.
I don't That means those means the same thing. But yeah, so anyway, guys, let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Are you excited for Edge of Sleep season 2 if they ever do it? Most likely they will do it.
I would if they're gonna make money. It makes sense to
Well,
me.
yeah, I mean if they were number 7 in the US its first opening first when it first dropped. So I guarantee it made its money back from that first weekend. Off of revenue like in ads and all that and subscriptions. And so, but yeah, and if you guys don't have Amazon Prime to watch it, you guys can get the 30-day trial and cancel after you watch it, while also listening to the commentary at the same time while watching it. So let us know your guys' thoughts.
Mhm.
um Moving on to this next topic, I actually never seen Game of Thrones. I've watched the first episode, I
That
believe.
makes two of us. I've never seen a minute of.
You never seen Game of
No,
Thrones?
I think I saw maybe a dragon like light somebody with
Mm.
ice or on fire or something crazy. I
And
don't even know if
I
it was
I
probably on Instagram, you know?
probably, yeah. I mean, like I've seen Jon Snow, and it's apparently like, he has this love interest, and there was like this joke between them or whatever. And next, you also have House of Dragons out right now. I heard positive things about season 1. I don't know if season 2 was positively received. I don't know how that's doing. But there's plans in the works for a Game of Thrones movie. Now, there was something similar with the Walking Dead. After The Walking Dead ended, before Rick Grimes was getting his own TV show, even though the main show was his TV show, before he got his own spinoff, they were planning on doing his storyline as a movie. Like they were gonna break it up into like a trilogy or whatnot. And so seems like the HBO is taking the same route as that. And I'm curious to see what they do with it. This would definitely make me want to watch the show because I've heard. I mean, like I know how the show kind of somewhat ends a tiny bit because I was in the realm of being spoiled when season 8 was being trashed on because I've heard nothing good about it. And a lot of people wants to see the continuation with Jon Snow. That's a possibility, or they do like 1,000 years before the Game of Thrones and they do a movie on that. That would be probably the best option since you probably would get more audience to come out and see it at that point than continuing a TV show storyline as a movie. Because you're just basically cutting off basically revenue at that point. You're losing money on that side. Um, what do you think? What do you think they could do?
Like I said, I have not seen the show, so I can't speak from a perspective of continuity of shows or I remember I remember reading because it was a big thing that the last two seasons were not that great.
Yeah, because
Um,
these are based on books, right? And
yeah.
so
Mhm.
And
So
while making the show, they were waiting for the writer to, because he was still technically writing the next book while they were making the show, but he never finished. So they had to make things up for their show, and that's
so
why it was bad.
that's what I'm saying. So I remember just seeing people saying I did not like the last season of that or the last two seasons of that show. So I get them making, like I said, everything's money.
Yeah.
Everything is making money. That's all. Let's just be real. That's how it is. So I am not shocked that they want to make money, and that is the big driver as to why they will add this. Um, as to why they will add this into production, right?
Yeah.
Why would we add a movie? Money. Do they
Uh,
need it for the story? I don't know. They could obviously do
Well, since the
side
writer's not going to
characters.
finish it, they can do whatever they want. So,
Well,
but
and that's it. It's kind of like the Lord of the Rings show is a perfect example. We got the Hobbit, we got all the Lord of the Rings movies. They do
yeah.
a Lord of the Rings shows, which is like the prequel to all the events, right? And
And
you're
now we're
like,
getting a Lord of the Rings anime movie that's coming out
yeah,
December.
I heard it's supposed to be. I'm excited for that because I like
Yeah,
anime. But no, it's definitely interesting to see what compelled them to do it. Money.
money.
Now, is it going to be good or add any value to any of the actual like the lore of
Well,
I don't
probably
know.
not. Because well, when has anything from show being transferred to movie ever really been good? I'm trying to think of one I've actually seen. Like I watched the show and I try to watch the movie. The
TV
only
show to
one the,
TV.
like the only one I've actually liked was the Breaking Bad one, but that was also straight to Netflix. But that I guarantee that movie would have made buttload of money if it was put in the
It
theaters
very well could have made a lot of money. Let's just be real.
because that was actually a good movie. So, and Netflix doesn't put out a lot of good stuff, so that's saying a lot. Um, but yeah, it could be interesting because it's also been forever since we gotten anything um like what's the word what's the time period for Game of Thrones? Is it medieval times? Is that what it
I mean, yeah, I mean it's dragons
is? Yeah.
and
Like
swords and
it's
archery and all that crazy stuff. So
it's been a bit since we've gotten anything like that on that type of scale when it comes to like dragons on the big screen. Not talking about how to train your dragons. We'll get to that topic later. But
yeah. Oh goodness.
um but yeah, I mean we did just get Gladiator, so maybe that would feed enough people for their need to have something like that on the screen. But I think this could do really well. It just depends on the story that they choose, but I think they would get a lot more money, a lot more people in the seats. It's also if this is going to theaters, I think they want to have this go to theaters. If um if they do a prequel, if they just do a straight up prequel that does not connect to anything to the show besides leaving hints of the events of the show. And so I
And
think,
that's like I said, where they're going to make a show. They'll probably make it a sequel, side character, something along those lines, and then they'll call it, a day.
yeah.
Uh,
And next maybe some
so
main characters from the show will pop in and be like, "Hey, I'm here, I'm alive," type of deal. But yeah, so let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below on a Game of Thrones movie. Are you wanting something like that, or would you like to see them continue it in a show, doing like Game of Thrones season 8? I don't know if this is going to be the creators of the show doing that. I don't think because they were rushing through season 8 to
uh,
do their Star Wars movie that never happened. Because
yeah,
they just simply didn't care anymore.
I don't know that it'll be interesting to see what they create and the reception. I like to base it based off of the fans that really like the TV show. So
Yeah,
I'm curious to see what they say about it with people who actually have watched all the shows and the reception that it has. So
yeah.
I'm excited for that.
I would like to do a show commentary on the Game of Thrones show. So that would I think that would be that's probably something that I have kind of in the lineup for when it comes to show commentaries. So I'll know more about Game of Thrones sooner or later because that's the show that I've been wanting to check out. It's been putting it off for a bit. So anyway, let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below.
Drop it below.
Now moving on to a little bit more controversial for a second. Um, when was back it was back in August when we first got a Minecraft trailer. It was like back
Yeah,
like June or something like that, like
it
July.
was something along those lines, and it was just like the teaser trailer, and you're like, "What is going on?"
Yeah,
It was very weird.
and it looked well. See, I actually liked the way that the world looked, but the trailer itself was bad. That was a very, very bad trailer. More bad than Borderlands. How is that even possible?
Oh, it's very possible.
It's very possible. And so yeah, I was like, what the hell is this? What a Minecraft movie? Do we really need this? What are you gonna do about this? And so, and I'm also kind of sick and tired of like real humans transferring into the game world or the game world transferring into the humans world like they did after Smurfs. Every studio has been doing that, even though it's been doing it since before Smurfs, because like you had cartoons in the 90s and 80s and all that transferring to the real world. Um, what's the company called, or like what's that called? Like Toonies? Is that what they're called?
For who?
Like like there were like WB characters, like aren't they called like Toonies or whatever? And you get Space Jam and all that. But so I'm not really a big fan of that type of style. But I understand why for a Minecraft movie why they did that. Because if they did the blocky and like anime characters that everyone's saying the movie should have been like this and then it would have been a lot better. I guarantee you this movie will make more if you did like a two versions of this movie where it was like live action and animated. I guarantee the live action movie would make more than the animation movie. That's just a simple fact when it comes to when it comes to Minecraft having this weird blocky animation. I don't think it would connect to a lot of people for them to go out and want to see it. But if you have a recognizable face like Jack Black or Jason Momoa, people are like, okay, I usually like those people. I'm gonna go out and see it. And my kids like playing Minecraft, so we'll take them too. And so,
I I'm interested to see how this movie's received. I know that there
you
was a
know,
lot of
I'll
very mixed emotions about it, is what I'll say. I think that
yeah.
was a good way to put it.
Well, I'll say this. I think this trailer that they put out is a lot better. I think this trailer is a lot better than the one that we got earlier this year. Um, and I watched some behind the scenes videos on it, and most of the world is actually practical. I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. Like a lot of people put their hard work into being honorable to the game and all of that. Now it's just about the execution. Now it's about, are the jokes actually funny? So far, the tra the trailers have not made the jokes seem funny at all. At least
The
whoever.
children yearn for the mines was funny.
Eh, I really the one joke that actually made me laugh was the chicken joke. Where
Oh,
they burnt the chicken alive and next they just threw a real chicken on the table. I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny.
I mean,
Because I like torturing animals in Minecraft, apparently.
I think
So
this is going to be a meme movie.
it
I
probably
just think
is.
it's going to be a meme movie. That's exactly what it's going to come down to. So I'm interested to see how they work through that. It'll be
Yeah.
fascinating.
So let us know your guys' thoughts on the Minecraft movie trailer, the official trailer now. It comes out in April. I see this movie making $400 million at the box office, maybe
Oh, I think
500,
it's going to make more than that.
seven
Minecraft is
hundred.
one
Let's
of the
make a
most
bet.
played.
Let's make a bet right now since we like doing bets and not honoring them. Let's make a bet right
I
now.
don't. I don't think. Here's the thing. It, if it's Jack Black, right?
Yeah.
Usually, video game movies do but it's Minecraft. So if they can meme it and market it, I would not be shocked if it hit the
Yeah, I
billion.
mean, like if they lean in a little bit into the memes, then they might get an audience be like, okay, they know what this is. Let's go see it and have fun with it. That they might get that out of it. And so, but what's your like what do you think the final number of it would be?
I'm going to say 800 million. Could
800
be more
million?
than that.
I'm
I
saying
mean,
like,
we're talking worldwide, right?
yeah, yeah, not
I would say
domestically.
800
No
million.
one's going to be touching Force Awakens with that domestic number. Um, But I would say 400 to 500 million. I see it making that much.
Yeah.
Just because I see a lot of the hate side of the
Well,
fandom, but you know for a fact that
they're
they're
gonna
gonna go
go
see
see
it.
it anyway.
They're gonna
Yeah.
go see it. So just be like so they can have an actual opinion on it. That's like, people when they say like I'm not gonna support anything of what James Gunn does. I'm excited for his Superman movie.
And then it does
And
really well.
yeah, and it does really well because they go out and see it, so then they can have an opinion on it and still
Yeah.
hate on it, even though majority are liking it. So yeah, let us know your guys' thoughts on the trailer down below in the comment section below. This is the
And how
one.
much money you think it's gonna make? I want to know how much money people think it's gonna make.
Yes, let us know that. This is the one I'm more excited about.
This
Mission
is great.
they so they drop a teaser, which is a very long teaser. It's like 3 minutes long, and they drop a Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. So they dropped the part two. They dropped the part one. They're like, fuck, that didn't do well in our before. Part one really screwed things over for us. Throw that word away. So we're gonna call it The Final Reckoning, and they're kind of marketing this as the final film of the whole entire series. And I believe
It's great.
I've heard
It's going to be great.
Tom Cruise saying that he doesn't want to stop after this one, but they're oddly marketing it that way. And I find that to be
Well,
odd.
it's really weird because in the trailer he says, "I need you to trust me one
One less
last
this.
time."
But he says that
Oh,
every single time, and next he
I
keeps coming
know,
back. It's
I
like,
know, but it's Tom Cruise, and I am ready to trust you, Tom, because you have been like one of the only consistent people to come out with like pretty consistently good. Like
for
I'm not
his
saying
style,
that.
for his style.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying the best movies of all time, but they're
Now,
consistently good and
when you
entertaining.
think about the Mission Impossible logic, you're like, huh? Wait, what?
We don't think about the logic. We
But
just
you go
like
for the
that it's
stunts.
good.
Yeah, we go for
And
the stunts.
yes, we go for the stunts. We go for Tom Cruise, who doesn't seem like he's aging. He
Yeah.
looks the
He looks
same.
like he's 40 still, but he's like 60, 70? Well,
No,
old.
he's not 70. There's no way he's 70. Here, we got to fact check this. I think
He's like
he's like,
65. I think he's
I don't think
65.
he's that old. No, there's no way. He's 62.
I was close.
Stop trying to take Tom Cruise and make him
Hey,
older.
age is just a number.
Yeah, I mean, it is for him. He looks
Yeah.
really good for his age, but
Surgery.
him still doing the
Classic.
stunts that he does, and for the fandom and how people like his films, Tom Cruise is great. Like
Yeah.
I said,
I mean, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 did underperform, but that's from like million different reasons.
I just thought I thought that was a really good film. I didn't think it was
I
bad.
I didn't I don't think it's my favorite in the whole franchise, but I actually do like that one a
Mm-hmm.
lot. And so, but I think what really hurt that movie is it being called Part 1, but it also the fact the next weekend you had Barbie and Oppenheimer coming out the same at the same time. So there's multiple different factors going with that. But if this I guarantee if this movie came out this year, it would have made twice as more than what it originally did.
Yeah,
So
and that's the hard part. Is there's just something about it that you go, wow, go Tom Cruise, and that's where I think people should wish for fandoms as good as Tom Cruise has been to his.
yeah.
Like,
He's not bashing his fans like Leslie Handlin at Disney,
oh my
Kathleen
gosh,
Kinney. We'll say more later for
uh,
that.
that was unfortunate. But genuinely, it's one of those things where you're like, wow, Tom Cruise has done such a great job. And whether this is the last one, not the last one, I don't really care. What I will say is that whether it be Top Gun, whether it be his '90s stuff, whether it be
If you guys
wow,
didn't know,
who put
I,
that there? You know,
yeah.
whether it be Top
Hope,
Gun, whether
hope,
it be Mission Impossible, his '90s stuff like A Few Good Men, he
yeah,
constantly and consistently really goes all out for his films, and you really enjoy them and like his character.
yeah.
Now, some will say it's very one dimensional because he picks stuff that he obviously acts
Well,
very similar in,
yeah.
but he just fits that role. And I'm glad he hasn't taken on weird crap.
I mean,
Like, let me,
he worked back in his early days. Like his one of my favorite films is what was the one where and he was like he was an agent or like a scout, like a football scout or a football agent. Show me
oh,
the money. Why am I blanking it?
it's here, I got you. I got you.
And next, I really like Rain Man. I think that's a good
Yeah,
film.
Rain Man's a great movie. The one movie that I was like, you were not good in was The Mummy. That movie was awful. That was not good.
I don't. That's
I,
not. I don't know if Tom Cruise had involvement with the script, but that was just
yeah,
not
that
good.
wasn't good. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's just look back. We're gonna go do Risky Business,
Yes.
pretty good.
Good.
The
Good movie.
Outsiders, pretty good. All the Right Moves, I thought was pretty good. The
Yeah.
Color of Money, pretty good.
What was that
Top
one?
Gun,
Top Gun. Yeah.
amazing. I'm trying to see. I want to make sure I don't miss anything out. A Few Good Men, The
Yeah.
Firm, both really great movies. Jerry Maguire, great
Yes.
movie.
That's what it's called. Jeremy Maguire. Yeah.
Jerry Maguire is a great movie. I mean, The Last Samurai. I've heard love and hate for that movie, which I think is
I
weird. I
think
thought it was
people.
good.
I think people are just upset about that movie because he's because it's a white man in a samurai movie. I think that was
Um,
the reason.
I mean, Minority Report was good. Mission
Yes.
Impossible, War of the
Yeah.
Worlds, Jack Reacher. I mean, he's been in some really good. Edge of Tomorrow, I thought was an underrated movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in some really, really good movies. I think The Mummy is one of my least favorite movies I've ever seen him
Yeah, I think that would be probably the
in.
least favorite movie I've seen him in. I could not tell you a movie that I hate him in. I couldn't tell you. Besides
No,
The Mummy.
I think I've seen movies where I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But he is consistently in really great movies.
Yeah.
And they're entertaining. You could argue, oh, the script isn't that great, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. Maybe I'm just a Tom Cruise super fan. Not really. But he just makes consistently interesting movies.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can fault I don't think you can fault him for being interesting.
And I think
So,
a lot of people give him respect when he does his own stunts and goes off and like hanging off the side of planes and all that.
yeah,
And
you can
so
respect that.
I like you can say whatever you want about his personalities. I don't care about an actor's personality. Well, the only one that's been getting on my nerves lately is Rachel Zegler, but I will still give them the benefit of the doubt of putting out a good product. Like they could literally, I don't, well, I don't want to go too far because like we do have problems with our with Hollywood, but you could literally have them, I don't know, do cocaine, whatever. Okay, yeah, that's their personal life. That's their own problems. That I don't agree with it. But if they come out and put out an Oscar-worthy film, great, cool.
Yeah,
And
and
so,
that's the thing is it's interesting, it's fascinating. It like I said, I'm excited because I really liked him in all the movies that I see. He'll be one of those who eventually, like, 20, 30 years when he's 80, 90, 100, whatever that looks like, and he unfortunately passed away because just, we get old as people. I think people will look back and look at his career and say, wow, he's a really, I would say even transformational. He's a great actor, and how he does his stunts and his craft and all those different things. He'll be remembered for a long time for that,
yeah.
which I think is pretty cool. So
What do you think the outcome of this whole entire film would be? Him dying,
no, I don't think dying is the right. I think
retiring?
retiring.
But
Now,
he did that. He did that in Mission Impossible 3. He retired
I think retiring
because he was like a
and then
teacher.
settling down and having like kids where he could pass on, you
Yeah,
know,
but that was what's her name that died in the last one. Um,
well,
Rebecca first or whatever you say her
person.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm not saying that they're going to do that, but it would be cool if he found out he had like an 18 or 19-year-old kid or something that was somebody that he didn't
with his
remember.
original wife.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
something, right? And then all of a sudden, it's now the kid who takes up the mantle. And
Scientology would be upset.
oh my goodness,
His community would be mad.
no comments. I don't have any comments on his personal life because that has nothing to do with his films. But
They'd be like,
well, actually,
is that kid, what was the woman Scientologist? No, no. Wow,
I have
you're
no idea.
out.
It's his film, but unless it's somebody who does something egregious that probably shouldn't be in films because they've like assaulted somebody or
Ezra Miller.
something crazy like that, probably wouldn't support their films. But what
Yeah.
his politics, his religion, all those different things doesn't matter to me. He makes great movies.
Yeah,
Um, but
he just has a weird life that most people don't agree with. And, a lot of people bring up him dancing on the table back like that was
what
like 40 years ago or whatever.
what they should do, and I wish they would do this at the end, is if this is the very last film, I wish they'd like put like a breaking the wall cameo of like, damn, I didn't think this mission was possible. Or you know what I mean? Like
They
say
kind of did
something
that one in the last one.
yeah, but like that would be so cool. Like, come on now. That would be pretty sweet. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't know what the ending's gonna look like. Do they kill his character off like they did Daniel Craig?
I feel
I
like
don't really
because
know.
he's kind of like a character that like he plays a character like he cannot sit out. He can't sit on the sidelines type of character. So I feel like the only way he can really go out is dying because he dies by saving the world and next he can finally rest in peace type of deal. Because I don't think he's a character that could live I don't think he's a character that can settle because we already seen him try to do that in Mission
Yeah.
Impossible 3 and he got pulled back in.
Yeah.
And so,
Like I said, though, that was early on in his career. I don't think he's going to do the same thing in this one. It, if it were, it would be cool if he passed his legacy on to somebody who could
that wants to do the
easily.
stunts and all that.
Yeah,
Just
that would be cool.
Get Glenn Powell. Powell can be a
No,
new no.
why is he in every movie? What is going on? No more of
Hey,
that guy.
he's a guy that wants to do his own stunts. Let's be fair. So,
Cool.
yeah.
I think that was a big reason why he fit in really well in Top Gun too, right?
Yeah, the reason why he was actually auditioning for Miles Taylor's character, the son of Goose, Rooster. He auditioned for that character but he didn't get it. So they cast him as Hangman because they really like him and they had
Which good for him.
yeah.
I think that's great. He is not my favorite actor, and I feel like he's in everything. It's it. I I'm one of those people. I'm like, why are we putting Tom Holland in every movie? Why are we putting this person? Oh, if I see another one of Timothy Chalamet,
Hey,
why are we
we
putting?
got we got a movie of him coming out this year again, that involves him being a singer, and he filmed that
I
this
don't.
year.
It's not even that I don't like these people. I just don't understand why we need to put them in every movie. I think that's the
That's
annoying part,
their
and
job.
that's why I've really liked Tom Cruise. Is he didn't just do movie. Now he comes out with them consistently,
Yeah,
but they're his movies. A lot of the ones that he's done
yeah,
recently have been his movies.
yeah. And I
So
find it funny when people complain, "Well, why is Tom Cruise needed so much money for this movie?" He's the one producing it. He's the one with his own life at like literally on
yeah,
the line.
let me go walk out on a plane
Yeah,
because wow, who wouldn't do that? So
studios
uh,
would not allow that. He has to get his own. He had to get his own insurance in this
good,
industry to be able to do
good.
that stuff.
We need
And
to make
so
sure that Tom Cruise is insured.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But yeah,
but
let us know your
no,
guys' thoughts about this whole entire
yeah,
trailer. The only negative about this whole entire trailer is really the music. I didn't really, it didn't feel like a Mission Impossible type of like trailers music type of deal. So that's my only negative about that. But yeah, moving on to this one. Oh boy, sounds fun.
this is a good one.
I'm tired of these remakes. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm done. I don't get I don't get the nicotine of remakes that people are on right now. It's like
Yeah,
a drug. I don't get it. Hey guys, guess what? You can watch How to Train Your Dragons right now. You can consider it an early release. Go pull up what would it be on? Peacock? Yeah, pull it up on that terrible streaming service and you can watch it right now. Like what are we doing? Like, what are we doing right now? Studios, Hollywood. Like, I get your whole entire strategy is to make money, but if this is successful, we're creativeness is honestly dead because this will prove to studios like because Disney's been putting out crappy remakes for one,
yeah,
but yet they still make money. If this comes out and is successful and positively receive. Now, that's a little bit hard for me to do because I review them and I'd be honest if I like it or not. But if this comes out to be really positive, received, and makes a buttload of money, you can say goodbye to creativity, to be honest, because studios be like, all right, well, let's start doing these remakes because Disney and Universal now are doing it. It's like I don't, yeah. I got a couple other things to say about this trailer, but that's kind of my initial thoughts. You can take over for a bit. Just don't talk about the big problem that people are bringing up yet.
yeah. No, I'm definitely very excited to see how that does because oh, the amount of people that were like, hey, we should make this. This looks good. We should make it an animated film. I thought that was funny. I'm genuinely curious to see. Um, I'm genuinely curious to see how all of those things work and whatnot. But it's one of those things where it's interesting to see how they made it almost a shot for shot remake
It
of
literally
that.
is.
It,
Like it,
why would we need that? The one thing I will say is that Tooth looks insane.
yeah, I mean like
He looks great.
the animation, the CGI all looks amazing. Hats off to them.
Yeah,
But it's no different from me looking at over it's like no different from me being in school and looking over at the person next to me and copying off of them. There is no difference
yeah,
here. There's nothing new. It's like it's one thing to be like, hey, here's a live action movie that takes place in the How to Train Your Dragon world with new characters. That's not what they're doing. They literally just took the first one, they literally just grabbed the script. They have it. It's in their backlot. They have the script, brought it over. They're like, make this into a
remake
live
it.
action. Just that. That's done.
So here's the thing, though.
Here's more of a budget since we don't have to write it.
I think it's basically double dipping. They're making a boatload of money. What I think would be cool is if they took the 90s and early 2000s animation movies that didn't do well and remade them as live action.
Yes,
Like
that's what I want. Like, there's
something
so
that
many.
wasn't popular the first time,
Yes.
like Treasure Planet. I
Yes.
think that could be interesting.
I
Uh,
like that movie though. But I think
well,
that would be interesting.
I'm not saying it's bad. I just remember
Yeah.
it didn't do as well as we thought.
Yes.
Live action Atlantis would be
That would
super
be
cool.
yes. Or like I don't like there's so many other things that they could remake that not a lot of people like. It's like, okay, let's give this another shot. But let's try it differently. Let's not do literally an animation. Let's make it into live action. Maybe it will be better that way. And
So
so,
let's see. I'm trying. One second. I'm looking to see.
but sooner or
So,
later we'll get a Shrek freaking live action
one
remake.
that would be super interesting. Not saying it didn't do well. I'm just saying it
Yeah.
would be interesting. Something like El Dorado would be cool. Imagine you get two comedians that look just like those two characters that can act. I think that would be a great movie.
They'll make one of them black.
Sinbad would be. I think they made a live action something similar to Sinbad. That would be good. You could do something like if you did a live action Monster House. What if you did like a scary movie where the house actually eats people and stuff? That could be good. That would be. There's plenty of movies that they can take, make live action, and do it in a way that's great.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I would watch an Emperor's New Groove live action. I know that sounds silly, but like, what if you found a funny enough comedian that looked just like Cusco to be in? You know what I mean? Like they definitely have
Well,
opportunities.
those are also Disney films, but like,
Sure, but
um,
you could still make them
yeah,
live action.
yeah.
I mean, you could still make them
Like,
very,
there's
very
plenty of
good.
like it doesn't matter from when it comes to Warner Bros. Their animation studio, or if it's or Universal, Sony as well. They have their own animation picture as well. Like, there's so many other things that could be remade that deserve it more because they didn't do well the first time. And I think that's the issue. Like, well, why if they didn't do well the first time, why would we ever do it again? Why would you ever make the same freaking movie over again when I can literally just watch it right now? That's why I also find streaming to be freaking stupid.
Sure.
It's like, well,
What,
let's
what
just
if they
wait.
made what if they made a live action Incredibles movie?
Oh God,
Like now that they own Marvel, let's just make Incredibles. They'd
well,
have to pick.
that's the Fantastic Four. So
We need a comedian like Frozone. If they cast Frozone well enough, I would
they
come.
would just they would just put Samuel Jackson in the role.
I think he's too old. They'd CGI him down like they
Yeah,
did to
yeah, and Captain Marvel, you can do that. That
oh
works.
gosh, so funny. But
Yeah,
no,
so
there's definitely some good ones. I'm I'm not gonna hate on it because I get why DreamWorks or whatever Universal's doing it.
well, it's because even though it's because of Disney,
But
even though Disney's not putting out good product, it's still making buttload of money.
I don't know if it's Disney as much as it is their Epic Universe park opening next year in May of 2025. They're timing it pretty nicely to get some hype around it because they're going to have Berg be it, it's smart, it's good.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, but you
love
could
it or hate these
literally
companies, they do stuff for a
make a
reason.
new story though, and it would be
Why would they though?
it would have the same amount of hype.
I don't know. I think they're just going to do a shot for shot remake, so it's good to the
So,
original,
but
semi
I
decent. I mean, the
they
actor. You have to remember the twins don't look like the twins.
oh no, they
Astrid
don't.
doesn't look like Astrid. That's a
Well,
little disappointing.
well,
But
let's
Astrid at least is a good actress.
yes, I was about to bring that up. So there's a lot of hate going around right now because of the actor that's playing Astrid. I
The
got
twins don't look like the twins
well,
either.
yeah, I'd be more.
So
I'm actually more about mad about the twins situation than the Astrid situation. But I'm gonna play devil's advocate here with Astrid. All right, I'm gonna play both sides. So I understand why people are upset. I do, because it's like, for one, it's been a constant thing lately in Hollywood where a white character would get placed by another color character, and people are gonna be upset that I'm saying that, but it's true. That's just a simple fact. But now there's two ways of going about that. There's one side of where it doesn't really matter the color of your skin to play that certain character, and there's this other side of where it actually kind of does because of where the character is located, or the backstory of the character, or the story connected to the character. There's there's two different there's like I don't care if Catwoman is a colored is played by, what was her name in the Batman?
Halle Berry.
No, not Halle Berry. The Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman. What was her name? I forget her name.
Oh gosh. I'll get it. Don't worry.
I don't care if Catwoman is black or Asian or whatever. I don't care because nothing about her story connects us to
Zoe
her.
Kravitz. It's
Zoe
Zoe
Kravitz,
Kravitz.
yes. And I thought she was actually good in the film. So I don't. That's because it just doesn't matter. But when you're in a but when you're but if your story takes place way back in the day and involves Vikings, it kind of slightly does in a way because one, where Vikings are located, they're located in an area where they don't get a lot of sunlight. It's very cloudy, and you can see this in the animation too. And it's the reason why their skin color is the way it is as well. But and
I liked it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
well, and people are gonna say to that where like, well, it's fantasy. Well, okay, we don't got real dragons in our real world. Well, to that point, so is Princess the Frog. Let's recast her in live action as a
Uh,
white person.
I don't think that one's the same. That one doesn't
No,
make much
well,
sense. I call it. I
well, no,
liken it
that's what
to.
I'm trying to say. That's my point. That's my point. It doesn't matter if it's a fantasy or not. Because it's a fantasy does not mean it does make sense for a certain character to be a different race. Because so
I think it just needs to be consistent. So,
that's
like
yes.
in Mulan, I would not have people of white ethnicity in Mulan
I
or
expect them to
African
be
American
Samoan.
descent. If I were to do, if I
Oh,
were to do,
I was thinking Moana, not
yeah,
Moana.
I get that
Um,
too. But like, if you're doing a story that is based in Japan, I would hope you'd be of Japanese descent.
yeah,
If I'm
unless you're
doing
Tom Cruise.
something, if I'm doing something like Wakanda,
Yeah.
you're probably not, well, not probably, you're not going to have white people in Wakanda. You just aren't.
Unless they are people are foreigners and they move there, and that's one way and that's going to be the other side of the argument that I'm going to play is like, okay, Asher is a colored person in this movie, fine, all right, cool. That means she's not a native a Viking. She lived somewhere else as she next joined this tribe there. Okay, problem
Sure.
solved, whatever. um
But then that would be
but
going against the backstory. That would make
Yes.
sense.
So you're
So,
at that point you're writing a whole entire new character. Why not just make a whole entire new character then?
sure.
But that's too
Well,
lazy.
the other thing, the one that I always remember that I'm like, that was a weird casting, is what is his name?
If it's so important to have Toothless look like Toothless from the animation, why is it not the same? Why is it not treated the same way when it comes to a character of a human? Why is it not like that's what I don't get.
So a good example, and I said this years ago, and people were like, "Oh, that's too much." Was when Jake Gyllenhaal was in Prince of Persia when he's very white with a Swedish background. That doesn't make sense either to me. And I was telling people, I'm like, he really doesn't look like he's Persian. Um, Maybe you can make the argument, it, long
Yeah.
story short, they always select people, whether white or black or whatever. They'll put people in situations where I'm like, okay, it would be like making Jesus white in a Jesus movie. Also wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And I guess people could
Hollywood is
argue, oh,
Hollywood has
that's a historical figure, so they would need to be that color.
yeah.
I mean, I don't mind when they do it. It's not that I even mind that much. I really don't, because
I
they're
yeah.
making millions and I'm
As
not, so who cares?
See, this is how everything about this argument will be forgotten if the movie's good. If she's good in the role, if she actually acts like Astrid, everything will be forgotten because she also played another character, and this is why you guys can also call me, oh, another white boy whining and what, oh, you're just racist or whatnot. It's because she also played Joel's daughter in The Last of Us. Guess what? Joe's daughter in the video game is white, played by a white person. And that's also someone that's also what people bring up in this argument. It's like, well, the original actress for Astrid is actually Latino, and it's like, who cares? Why does that matter? She
It doesn't.
doesn't she's not playing like the Latino person isn't making the white character sound Latino. She's the actor is doing her job to sound like a white person. That's the whole point of a voice actor is to like you can get a white person to voice act a black person as long as the person sounds like they're black.
Yeah. So, like I said, it doesn't. It will never. It's not going to change. They're going to film the movie regardless of whether people like it or not. Who cares?
It's all
But
about the
my
execution and the
my
person.
thought
And
process is just that it's in some cases it makes more sense to cast Paramount though. Regardless, as long as the person can act and do well,
yes,
I'll be happy and excited.
no, and
So,
that's
and they
the
did
same
pick.
minds. That's
Yeah,
the same mindset I
Astrid
have.
Astrid's a great actor. We already know that she
Yeah,
is. So that to me is like, man. The twins, though, I was like, no way. What are they doing?
one of them is
Uh,
redhead, and they're both not trying to be fat shaming, but they're both pretty overweighted when they're supposed to
well,
be pretty skinny.
they remind me of I always think of like perfectly casted, like Fred and George from Harry Potter. Like
Yeah,
they just fit the role well. I mean, they were a little bit older, sure, fine, but no, it's definitely interesting how they're going to keep going. In iterating. We're going to see more of it. That's just kind of how like Hollywood studios or movie studios kind of do things.
like
So
I
it'll
like
just be, is it good?
yeah, like if this turns out to be checking off a box list, and don't tell me it's not real, because it 100% is real, because literally the other day I heard someone saying, "Oh, I'm so happy that this such person was that is gay in real life was cast in Wicked." And it's funny because they're playing a straight person and it's also gender swap. I'm like, why is that a thing that you actually care about? Do you like the movie? Do you don't? I don't care about if the actor is gay or not. It's the job. Like, who cares? But that's what I actually hear in real life from actual people. So that just confirms itself that there is checking the box off in Hollywood in any form of business. That is a real thing. Don't tell me it's not. So,
Well, I mean, like
but
I
so
said, who
well, no,
who
like
does
if
it?
it like if that turn so now if it turns out to be like that and she is complete, there's two different ways that this can go. So either she was that the studio was looking for someone of a different color to play Astrid, and that could be their check the box off list, or she was just simply miscast and she just wasn't good for the role at all. Like, she has two different things going against her, and I feel bad for her. Like, that's the really argument. The sad thing about this is that she has to deal with all this crap, from coming from all
It has
directions.
nothing to do with her. She's
Oh
not the
no,
person who
well, no, she's
cast.
not. No, no, like, she's not the problem. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I feel bad for her that she has to deal with this
No,
because it comes her way.
the
And
problem
so,
is people that make it a big deal and yell at the actors.
yeah,
Everybody would take a paycheck. I don't care if somebody tried. Well, I probably wouldn't. If I was an actor and I was white, I probably wouldn't like try and cast myself as Martin Luther King or something. But
yeah,
like
well,
outside of historical figures that hold high relevance for specific people, or well, I guess, sorry, not specific people. Martin Luther King is very important to every American, but like outside of historic relevance for people that like that's like a hero they look up to or somebody that's like really important to their culture, I would be like, yeah, give me the paycheck.
yeah,
If you're going to cast me as Prince Naveen, who is obviously not white, um, okay, I take it. I'm not saying I'm good enough to be Prince
yeah,
Naveen by any means. You probably have to be like, super steadily, but still, my
yeah.
point being is that like doesn't matter. Collect the paycheck. They're walking to the bank laughing. I would laugh too if I got that, regardless of who I was cast as. Kudos to them for making money. So that's
Well,
what I have to say about it. So if it's a good movie, they can act, and it doesn't impact
and
the
that's
movie at
and
all.
that's
Who
going to be the
cares?
other side I was going to point out, is that I don't care if and I don't care at all if she pulls it off. Like, that's the simple fact. If she comes in and knocks it out of the park, I could care less.
The
And
problem
so,
is, though, is that she's going to be under much more scrutiny than other characters in the film because that's the
because of her,
glare.
yeah, because of her
It's
skin.
easy to pick apart something that just, oh, that's not what I had in mind.
Yeah. Well, I
Great,
mean,
nobody cares.
I didn't have her in mind to play Joel's daughter in The Last of Us, but she was so good for the minor little time that she had in that show that I didn't simply care. Do you think? And also, guess what? Pedro Pascal, he's not white. Joel is also white in
Yeah,
the
I
game.
didn't.
And I didn't care because Pedro Pascal actually kind of looks like Joel, and he actually does a pretty good damn job in the show.
Yeah,
So,
Well, and he's also just a fantastic actor. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. People will make excuses when they're fantastic actors. And we saw it with the Percy Jackson series with Annabeth, who she acted really, really great in that
Yeah.
series. And it was not distracting at all. I think I was more aggravated that they changed the storyline for some of the things than I was that they changed any of
That's
the actors and actresses. And that's the thing. People will always find something. If it's not what people look like, it's, oh, well, that person was in these 8 movies and I didn't like them in it. Okay, well, that doesn't mean that this one's going to automatically be bad.
yeah.
It You're bringing biases to review things and look at things when it should be through an objective lens of, was this character good and did they fit the character mold really well? And if the answer is yes, who cares? I mean, are we going to start talking about how Timothy Chalamet didn't have blondish, brownish hair for Willy
Dune.
Wonka and the Chocolate
Oh,
Factory?
that. I was like, Dune.
Or
But
Johnny Depp looks like, he looks like he was like dipped in white paint before he was in Willy Wonka. No,
no.
people don't
Well,
care
I
about
mean,
that because
that simply can be fixed. Like you can dye someone's hair and that could be
sure.
simply solved.
And I think that's why people are like, why not just give her a wig? I don't know.
Because
I'm
that
not
would
the
not look good on her. That would look pretty bad.
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
just wouldn't look right.
why not just paint her
So
white? What we need it.
why not just go watch the film, and if you like it, great. If you don't like it,
Yeah.
don't go see it.
Well,
I
I
don't
think
get why
also
people
if you
are so pressed about that.
but people also want a true adaptation of something. So I understand that side of something too.
Sure.
But I don't, again, I simply don't care if she just simply comes in and actually knocks it off the park. If I'm like,
She
okay,
I have no doubt that she will. I'm
yeah.
more worried about Hiccup in acting. No offense to
Oh
him.
gosh, yes. This is like his
Way
like the
more.
I saw him in Monster Summer, which Sean O'Rourke worked on, as a film that he worked on. But God, I like he was fine in the movie, but this is like his first biggest role, and I'm not too sure about him. He kind of looks like the part, kind of a tiny bit, but he's not
Doesn't have like
skinny.
the freckles.
He's not skinny enough. I'm more skinny than him. I guarantee it.
I, I'm more worried about his depth of character.
That
And the
too,
thing
yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling your
I'm a
emotions.
Viking. I'm a Viking. Yeah. It's like that was not very good. So
Astrid's gonna way out act him, so he better look out.
yeah.
so, but
But I don't know.
no, let us know. Yeah,
Yeah.
hey, I'll do this one. Let us know what you
Uh,
think. Are you excited for How to Train Your Dragon? If
or
not,
well, or
I mean, it kind of leads into this next one. I think we should just do it as well.
yeah.
Uh,
So let us know in the comment section below. You can do this one.
yeah, so Disney's live action Moana, yay, another live action movie, is now
Uh,
filming, and it was posted on Instagram, and it said Team Oahu Day One with Team Disney
it's
hashtag
funny.
Moana.
The Rock showed up late again to that starry filming set.
I mean, here's the thing, same thing. The fact that he gets to be Maui fits the character well, and obviously he's the one who did it in the first place.
Yeah.
That was something where I feel like they casted or they created a character that was meant to be casted for that specific person. Um, I think the only thing that I was like, that's weird, is that they didn't use the same girl that was Moana in the actual,
Yeah.
and
It,
she looks and sounds well. Obviously,
well, she obviously sounds like,
yeah,
but does
but you know
she?
what I
Yeah,
mean.
she kind of looks. She does look like Moana.
She
And
does, and she would have been great. Now, I don't know. I
who did
didn't
they
read any
cast as?
speculation.
Is she a little bit too old? Is that why?
Potentially, but they don't have a problem with that. They'll put what Harrison Ford in any movie possible. Just
Yeah.
kidding. Uh,
Yeah, they could
even though
put
he's
they'll put Harrison Ford in high school if they feel like it.
so Moana.
I think the reason
I'm,
why is because she was a little bit too old for the character. Because the character is like 13. Is that how old the character is?
I'm looking 1 second. So, oh, I'm gonna say her name wrong, and I feel so bad. I think it's Ali Cravalho, is what. So she made her acting debut at 16,
Hmm.
and she is now age 24.
Yeah.
So I don't know how old Moana is supposed to be because I genuinely have never seen that movie. I never caved and watched it. I
Well,
know that's
I will have to watch it before the sequel comes out. Which is
so.
tomorrow when this goes up.
So la 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 la.
But I can look up how.
She's so her name's Catherine Lagaaya. I am so bad with pronouncing names. But she's 5'2". I don't know why it tells you how tall she is. I think that's very strange. I don't know. I think it's weird when I guess it helps with like casting
Moana is
portions.
16 years old.
That's how old she is. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 24 is kind of old.
Yeah.
They casted a
But I mean,
17-year old.
they used to cast 25-year-olds to be high schoolers, so
That's very true. But I mean, she's 17. She's Australian. She, I think, looks just like Moana. Um, so I'm very interested. She's from Sydney. Um, and her grandparents are from the islands of Samoa. So it's, she's obviously Pacific Islander, which who cares? I think as long as she can sing and act and looks great, good for her. It's going to be good. I don't really like Moana, so I really don't care about this movie, but I think it'll probably be very, very good. Would
yeah.
just be my.
Once again, I simply don't care. I really don't. I can
It'll be
watch.
good. I think it'll be good, and if people can sing along to it and enjoy it, who cares? That's the whole point of going to these Disney movies is that you get to sing along with the characters and enjoy. Which is part of the reason why I didn't go see Wicked because I don't want to hear people sing. And I thought it was funny that AMC said, "Please don't sing in the movies."
Yeah, well, I feel like that should be a given statement to any form of movie. Hey, you should probably not be talking or singing, is especially if it's. But for a fact, no one was singing along for Joke They Do, but because they didn't need to put out that statement. But yeah, like yeah, I don't care about these live action remakes, even though we keep talking about them. But um, I think the set photos I've seen done are look really good. They look like they're from the animations. Like they look like the like Maui's staff, like there's like Hook or whatever it's called. Looks like it's from the animation movie, like straight
It
out.
does.
I think the biggest issue that this movie has going against it is The Rock because for one, The Rock shows up late to set and like hours late, like like they're like I've seen reports saying like they had to wait like 8 to 10 hours for The Rock to show up to start acting.
It,
And
they're gonna wait for him though because he's popular, obviously.
Red
So
One is a failure. It's a box office flop. And so if that like that's another reason. It's like, is this movie gonna even is this I think this movie will probably bring in people that like the first Moana, but I don't think it's gonna be because of The Rock. Because if it was because of The Rock, Red One would have made $100 million on its opening weekend, but it didn't. So
yeah.
um that's I think that's the biggest issue that this movie has going up against. And also, if Moana 2 is also bad. If Moana 2 is bad, that might ruin some people's excitement
Eh.
for this. So, but
I think
yeah.
it'll be popular either way, honestly. I just find it weird that they're releasing Moana 2 and then a live action within a pretty
Is it
close time frame.
is this coming out 2026? Is that when this is
I think it
coming
is
out?
2026, but I mean that's still a pretty close time frame.
Yeah.
They haven't even, yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. Money grab. It's always a money grab. Let
Yep.
us know in the
So
comments. Oh, go
yeah.
ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say that, but yeah, moving on to the next topic. This one we all predicted was going to happen, especially early on this month, which was going to be one of the topics. But since this happened, we might as well just combine it into big one topic.
Yeah.
So, Star Wars 26 was removed from release date, replaced by
What?
with Ice Age 6. How dare
No way.
they got replaced by Ice Age, a movie that no one asked for. No one asked for Ice
Well,
Age 6. And so,
I mean, the actress who are probably in Ice Age probably
well,
wanted that.
they're probably happy. Yeah,
They're probably excited.
they
Yeah.
got the paycheck. They're the only ones actually excited. But yeah, so early on this month there was reports that the Daisy Ridley movie got postponed. Like it was like infinite, like I forget the word. when you don't know when something's coming out, like that when they pull it off the schedule. I think it's called Infinity or whatever. Infinity, I don't know. Infinite.
To
Um,
infinity and beyond.
to
I'm just
Infinity
kidding.
and beyond. So and we were all like waiting to hear because we all figured that the 2026 release date in December was going to be that Ray movie. We all figured that they didn't confirm it, but this kind of slightly does after hearing that movie being delayed and after the writer leaving originally. And next we also got news saying that what's his name? I forgot the writer's name. They got another writer to write a Star Wars trilogy. Let me see if I can pull up
Oh, I know
his
who you're talking about.
um Star Wars trilogy. Give me a second. I gotta pull it up so I can. It's taking freaking forever to, so I can get the guy's name. But we all knew, and so we were wondering if this guy was writing like like a Raid trilogy or whatnot, like if he was taking over. Simon Kinberg, that's his name. Who has done some interesting work if we want to pull up his IMDb. He was the writer for, I believe he was even the director. No, I think he only wrote. He wrote Dark Phoenix, which was just bad. That was a bad movie. Get this. I made a joke in our Edge of Sleep commentary um episode. Uh he wrote and directed the 355. He did
Oh
that.
gosh. Oh goodness gracious.
Like that was really bad. That so I'm a little bit worried, but he also did he wrote all episodes on Rebels, which I think you liked. You liked Rebels, didn't you?
I mean, I thought it was interesting, good. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I liked it.
So there might be that since he might know some form of when it comes to Star Wars, but and like he also wrote the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, at least I think just the first one, which I like. I like those movies, and I one of news came out about them doing another movie about that. I think we're talking about it. I think there was a topic for that. Um, he did also write Fantastic Fork Stick, the Miles Taylor one, which was not very good.
Not good.
So
Yeah, so I'm sensing a theme here,
yeah, we're
but
sensing a
I don't
theme
like it.
of not being good at their jobs. So we all knew that this was going to happen. And that was kind of like, what was the kind of like the theory of like what movie it was. Most likely it was probably the Ray movie. And next, what they're probably going to do is make this trilogy be the new Ray movie, but still with the same Tash director who doesn't know what they're freaking talking about and just likes to bash down men. And the only thing that they've worked on is a freaking documentary. So
It'll be
uh
good. I think
oh,
I'm glad that they took it off the schedule. They really need to go into
well,
Lucasfilm
I
and
the
really
the
evaluate.
well, see, the issue here is that Lucasfilm just doesn't know what the hell they are doing. After Disney has bought them, after George Lucas was pushed out of the company, well, he wasn't pushed out of the company, he
I mean,
sold it.
pushed out
But
by getting billions.
yeah, Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy are a mess. I don't know how Kathleen Kennedy still has a job. I really don't. They just do nothing. They announced like 20 Blade films and none of them have come out. And so it's like I don't get it. Like the only things that have come out of this whole entire mess is shows. And every show besides The Mandalorian, Andor, uh the yeah, that's pretty much it. Has been garbage. Has sucked. And we get stuff like the Acolyte. And yeah, like what is this? Like what are they like I feel like they say like yes to everything and but yet nothing comes through. It seems like they've seen the movie Yes Man, the Jim Carrey
Mhm.
Yes Man movie, and they learned nothing from the movie about that it's okay to say no sometimes. It's okay. It's okay, Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah,
You
I
can say
agree.
no. And so I don't like, and next we get into messes in situations like this where nothing comes out because you have creative differences. Because probably it's because Kathleen Kennedy is coming in with her notes like we need this, and the story and the writers are like, what the hell is this? What? No, we don't need this in the story. What? No. And next they leave because they can't agree to something. And next you have, and next, I mean that shows with the sequel trilogy like something I just found out about the Secret Trilogy. This might have been, I don't know if this how old news of this has been or if it's just resurfacing or whatnot. But before Force Awakens was done, like supposed to come out, Ryan Johnson called J.J. Abrams, a that whatever J.J. Abrams, I think that's how you say his name, to take out this or to change the scene of Ray meeting Luke. Originally, that scene was him supposed to be floating rocks when she was walking up the hill and all of that. Um, but Ryan Johnson's like, hey, no, I need you to take that out because I want him to not no longer to use the Force in
The
in the
force
Last
is
Jedi.
with me. I
In the
am one
Last
with the
Jedi,
force.
yeah.
Just kidding.
And so because Ryan Johnson didn't want him to, because he wanted Luke to be broken in The Last Jedi. And so, and J.J. Abrams was like, okay, all right. And Kathleen Kennedy allowed it. It's like they don't have a freaking roadmap. They
I
don't,
mean, we're not. I'm not genuinely that surprised. I'll be honest. So
well, that's just like, that was like, if that came out years ago, like after The Force Awakens or sometime after The Last Jedi came out, that should have been the biggest red flag to be like, hey, we need to turn this ship around right now. Like you need
mhm.
to get things straight and actually get a roadmap together and not allow your directors and writers to do whatever excuse my language, the fuck that they want because there's a story that needs to be told. You're in control. Tell that story. Yes, you can have the writers be creative in any way that they need to be, sure, but there should still be boundaries. And the Secret Trilogy and everything that's come out shows that there has been no boundaries. You have Leslie Headland reaching into Legends, pulling out something that she shouldn't be touching, and be like, "I did that. That's my name stamped on it." That's all it's about. It's stamping their names onto something. But like, I did that when you didn't really. You did nothing besides
Yes,
screw something up. And so it's ridiculous. I'm sick and tired of it. I
it'll be interesting. I don't know. It's hard to know what they're going to do next because they have so much stuff going on. So, but
well, what they should do is literally cancel everything that they haven't uh, lined up. Cancel literally everything and start from scratch.
I don't think they're going to do that because that'll cost money. But
They,
it'll definitely
what do
be
you mean?
dependent.
Like they're like already announcing things and be like, hey, we're doing this. And next, when projects are slightly getting to the like, well, we're not doing it anymore.
They need to.
Cancel. They're already burning money, so it doesn't matter.
They need to wait and see
They
who the new Disney CEO is. I think that's going to set. Once
I
Bob Iger moves away, it'll be interesting to see
I
how
just
they
don't
spend
know
money.
why. I don't know why Bob Iger hasn't gotten rid of her. I just don't like what dirty dirt does she have on Bob Iger?
I don't think
Like,
it's anything like that. I
is
just
it
think they
because
won't make.
George Lucas handpicked her? Like,
No, they're just not going to do it because that would be a major change, and they're not going to do that while he's still CEO. You'll
is
see
it because
changes I think come
not
down.
enough time for him to fix it or like whatever? I don't.
No, why would you change something when they're obviously milking it for money and money? Like I said,
They're losing money though. Like they're
well,
burning
the
money.
film platform, but I'm sure they still make a ton of money from like their
No,
merchandise and everything.
that's why the Acolyte season 2 got canceled because no one watched it, and the people that did like it told us not watch it, and next they got mad at us for not watching it because they told us not to watch it. And
Yeah,
so
I don't know. You're not talking to a Disney strategist, but I
I
would
yeah
definitely do that. But I don't think they're going to make that big of a change anytime soon. Maybe in the next few years, but who
like
knows?
the ones that need to be in charge is I'm losing kind of my faith in Dave Filoni a tiny bit because he approved of the Acolyte and the Ahsoka show wasn't very good.
Of course, he's
Um,
going to approve of it. He works for that company. You're not going to say that I don't approve of
That's the problem. That everyone's yes mans. No one's a no man in that company. And so, but
it'll. We
They
just
need
have to be patient.
they need to pull a DC situation and put Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni in charge. Because
Patience.
whenever Favreau and Dave Filoni actually work together, they put out amazing stuff. Because Dave Filoni, he has the lore idea, but I don't think he knows how to put that to paper, really. So if he has Jon Favreau, I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name wrong, but whatever. They're working together, then they make stuff like the first season of The Mandalorian, and they make great stuff. And so that's what they need to do, and that needs to happen before any form of these projects ever come out. We're already getting the Mandalorian movie. That's already canned. That's already done. So there's nothing that they can do about that. And I'm pretty sure that'll be great because Jon Favreau is the one directing and writing it. So I have no worries about that film. But that doesn't count. There's going to be like 20, it's going to be 20 years or so since we haven't had a Star Wars movie on the big screen. And that's where Star Wars lives. And I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of Disney dancing around this and treating Lucasfilm and their projects like they're nothing. You spent $4 billion on this company and you've done nothing. And so, yeah.
They're gonna do what they're gonna do. So, but let us know in the comments what you're thinking about is for Star Wars moving forward. I'm curious to see. But no, next up, I'm actually excited for this one. So Daniel Craig hopes that Netflix will release Knives Out 3 in theaters because fans quote unquote want it.
Well,
Thought,
he hates how Netflix has been treating the Knife Out films or any of like films in general because Netflix they are against releasing things on the big screen, and whenever they do, they want to release it a week so that it can make the Oscars because that's how long they need to be in theaters for to be quoted to be allowed to be accepted in the Oscars. And Daniel Craig is like, you need to give Knives Out 3 a bigger theatrical release. And I agree with that because guess how much Knives Out 2 would have made? I guarantee you that movie would have made maybe 300 to 400 million dollars.
I just think it's an underrated film franchise, and I
Well,
do
that
like that
too,
it's on.
but
I do like that it's on streaming. It fit for the times of like COVID
well,
and
yeah,
those types of things. But I don't know. I like the movie theaters. I like supporting movie theaters in general.
I just don't
I
get
think
what
it'll be good. The third one should be really good. I'm excited
yeah,
for it.
I like the cast that they have attached to it, but I just don't get Netflix's thinking. Like they are leaving so much freaking money on the table. They are leaving so much money. This is why their shows are getting canceled after 2 seasons, besides Cobra Kai and Stranger Things. The reason why things are keep getting freaking canceled because they can't spend the money to actually do it. And
I think
so
they're gonna find the money for this film, whether they release it theatrically. So like if they do like a limited 1 month theatrical release and then
that's
followed by
fine. That's
then
fine.
drop it on Netflix,
Because
a
at
month
least
later.
that's at least showing progress being made from Netflix. Be like maybe we should spread our wings a tiny bit on these
Sure.
theatrical releases because that's what Apple's been doing. I feel like Apple's been leaving their movies in for about a month. I think that's how they do it, and
Sure.
so
I
and
don't
they
think it's a
make
bad thing, but
they make profit from it. And Netflix like fuck money. Who needs money? Do you think
well, they're
we're
trying to keep their subscriber base happy because Netflix is destroying everybody in the streaming wars.
no, they're
So,
not. No,
I mean, they're not nearly as they're doing much better
Disney
than all
Plus
the other.
made more money quicker than them.
Well, Disney already had a huge following though.
Well, I know.
Disney's one of those things where Disney could slap on a Mickey
Hulu,
Mouse
I think
logo.
Hulu's actually in front of Netflix. I think Hulu actually has a bigger um numbers than Netflix because they I believe there was like 1 year this might be like old, but there was like 1 year where Hulu made like $4 billion or something and just off of subscriptions and ads. So, but and honestly, I think there's a lot of good stuff on Hulu, but I don't know. I'm,
Just have to wait to see. I mean, Netflix will have to make the decision. Obviously, they'll add it to the docket if they do end up wanting it to be an actual theater or theatrical release. I'm interested to see how much pull Daniel Craig has for that.
Like
Uh,
they could have like two like production sides. They can have a theatrical side comp of the company, and they can have a streaming side of the company, like how Disney is, and like all these other studios do it. If they really want to stay on the streaming side, like, but they're being blockbusters right now, where they don't want to evolve with the times, and Netflix will be forgotten. I don't care how many seasons of Stranger Things and Cobra Kai they put out, which both of those suck. Those shows suck now, by the way. Just they are awful. Um,
I liked Cobra Kai.
yeah, the
It's
first two seasons owned by you, which was made by YouTube, and so
I just liked it in general.
I
I liked
I,
kind of the
I hate how corny it's became. It's a little it's a parody of itself at this point.
it is kind
Um, but it's just like Netflix, like I don't get the mindset as thinking of it. The only real change that we will have is whenever Netflix gets a new CEO, which we don't know when that will be because I haven't heard any news about a new CEO being made at Netflix. But that's yeah. I I hate the digital age. I really do. I hate what's and yeah, but let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below about like Knives Out 3 getting a bigger theatrical release. Do you guys agree with that? I would 100%. I 100% agree with that.
and how much you like those movies too, because I'm curious.
Yeah.
So, but all right, next topic. I'm interested. I hate these movies, so I don't know why you added it as a topic. Everybody, Austin loves Fast and Furious, all
I
8,000 movies of them.
I actually well, see, I'm a big fan of the first one. I think Too Fast Too Furious is actually very underrated.
Oh no,
Um
that's a good movie. I think the first five were okay. Anything
Yes.
after that is
I
not.
actually do enjoy Tokyo Drift a tiny bit. It's actually I like the different take that they try to do with that film. The first five, great. They're really good, and they should have stopped after five because that's actually a good like happy
Why?
ending
It
for the
makes
characters.
money.
And maybe Paul Walker might be still alive, who knows?
I
But
mean, that was just a freak,
yeah,
crazy, awful, awful sad thing. So,
yeah.
but no, I just am not that big of fans. I don't know why they're
I
even
s- y-
filming the 11th one.
well, hopefully the last one. They say it's the last one, and I think I kind of believe them because after seven they've been losing money. They lost money which each film because what how much
Did
does
they?
X yeah because the seven made $1 billion, maybe eight made a little bit more with a boost because of Paul Walker's death. 700% made a little bit more than it was initially going to make because of Paul Walker's death. A lot of people went out and saw that movie to respect him, and so, but but nine made like 700 million, and next nine made well no
I mean,
10 made
they
like
made
500
money. The budget was 378 million, and they made 715 at the box office
from
from 10.
10.
Yeah, so they definitely made money. I
Well,
just
no, that because if you add the budget, you add marketing, that would push it to around $400 million. So I think they actually lost money.
I thought they made money on all of
No,
them.
I think they actually lost money because because originally after 10 it was supposed to be there was supposed to be two more films, but then Universal's like, no, we're stopping after 11. And next we're probably gonna get a Dwayne Johnson spin-off film as well. But
Yeah.
but
Okay. Yeah. So Fast 10, which grossed 700, came out as a loss due to
yeah.
production costs and declining interest. But Fast 7 only made 354 million on a 1.5 billion dollar box office. That's crazy.
Which is
Um,
mostly because of Paul Walker. I think that was an extra boost because of his death.
that's still, yeah. I don't. They just need to stop with them, and it just doesn't
Well,
make any sense.
I mean, it might not even happen at all because the whole point of this topic is that it doesn't even still have a production date. And this all comes from I believe the actor that plays Mia. And so she's like, yeah, we don't even know when we're going to be starting filming. And maybe that's just because and that might be with the case that she might not even be in it. Like she might not even know that she's not even in it. Because there's a lot of times where actors that were in a previous movie, and the next movie comes is about to be done or whatever. Like they're gonna make another one. They kind of don't get told like, hey, you're not gonna be in it, and so they kind of move on without being told. So that could be this case. And I kind of feel bad because I like the Mia character. She's the last connection to Paul Walker's character in a way, and so, and that's one thing they need to end this movie with bringing back some version of Paul Walker. Like get his brother to play the role or something. Just so because he's the one that starts the franchise, he should be there at the end. I'm not saying that he should be in the whole entire movie, but he should be
Why
either
don't they should just reuse film from one of the other movies as an
well,
honoring thing.
yeah,
I don't
maybe. But
I
like
don't
they
think
took
putting them
no,
back in the film will do. I don't
no,
know.
well,
But
I'm saying like he should be there whenever they're at their final like their final like barbecue session or whatever like that they'd have.
um,
Like he should show up and be like, "Hey guys, I'm here." And it's if he has an involvement and it's his CGI face looks cool, or just recast him as Paul Walker's brother. I'm happy either way with that. Like that's fine too. But I think that would be a cool respect to have for Paul Walker since he did start the whole entire franchise. And it's sad that he can't be here to be at the end of it. I think that will be. I think they need to show some form of respect in that way. But yeah,
it'll be interesting. So
any
I'm
like
excited.
any thoughts on the side of like the reason why there is no production on this yet?
I mean, it, it's the final movie, so if they're gonna finish it, they have to finish it well, which I think is going to be a huge ask to make it good.
Yeah,
So
especially
I don't think they're going to rush it. I
yeah.
don't think.
Well,
Um,
the
so
problem is that it's a part one and a part two, and more time gets far apart between them, more people come less interested in it, and
yeah,
and so
hmm,
they kind of do need to get it out soon. But because Fast X came out last year, so if it takes 3 years to get this film, I don't think anyone's gonna care.
no, I
And
mean
so,
it
I
won't
mean,
make any
no one's caring anymore right now.
sense.
But so yeah,
No.
let us know your guys' thoughts on this whole entire situation down below. So did you know that we're getting a Michael Jackson movie? Did we talk about this? I don't know if we talked about this at
We
all.
didn't talk about it, but I've read about it. I as to why I don't know why they always bring up dead people to make movies about them. It's
Well,
just
it's funny. They can't the guy that they cast, I believe, is actually related to Michael Jackson, and he
uh,
actually does look like Michael Jackson, and he actually sounds like Michael Jackson, which is crazy. So, but
yeah. I just think
I don't know
everything's a
how
money grab. Oh, you died. Oh, money.
money. Well, I just don't know how they're gonna do this. I don't know what direction they're gonna take this movie, and because like I don't know how true it is. Was it true that he had involvement with minors in some way? Was that ever, or was he discharged of those cases?
I have no idea. Although
Like,
I
I
think
don't know if they're gonna
unless
bring those up at all. What's this movie gonna really be about? That's
no,
my kind of big question.
it's going to be about him as a musical artist and arguably one of the most popular ones ever.
I didn't really care for the movie.
Anytime a bio, a biopic or something happens where they like drudge up things like that, especially when it's unfounded or
Yeah,
like not provable. I think that's when you start to get into slander. So
yeah.
I get that people have made jokes about him in the past, like even some of the scary movie films have made jokes about him or insinuating things. I think that's really unfortunate. So hopefully
So
it's
people are
good.
so maybe it's been blown out of proportion, and that's how I've always been hearing it. Like he touched, he was involved with minors. I'm not saying that's the case, but that's how I'm always. That's since ever I grown up. That's always how I've heard
I
it.
just think that's grossly
Yeah.
regardless of whether it's Michael Jackson or whoever. I just think it's grossly, not to say those things don't happen in Hollywood or whatever, but it's one of those things where it's like if they do tackle that topic in this, which I would be shocked. Um,
Well, it'd be kind of weird if they slightly don't. That's why I find this movie to be weird in general. It's like if it's like okay, if you don't talk about the subject, all right, okay, and if you just talk about the music, because because that all happened in his high when he was like rocketing up in his career, like when his career started shooting up, right?
mm,
And so it's like it kind of be weird not to mention it when it's actually kind of really intertwined with his life and all that. And it's also all the surgeries that he went through because all his face was all plastic surgery and all that. And so I don't know. I don't know the whole. I don't know what the point of this film would really be. But the whole topic that it was also delayed for the Oscars. So they believe in this film. They clearly believe that they made
Uh,
some form of
I
a
mean, like I said,
masterpiece.
money grab, money grab, money grab. They'll remake these every time, and I don't know. I think they're running out of ideas, so they're taking people's
Well, I mean that's being shown with
lives and
live action
and
remakes.
biopics. I'm like, me, like they did, with the guy from Queen.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I These movies don't interest me because I already got to see the live person. You know what I mean? Or like I already got to see the person while they were live in music and whatnot. So
Well, it makes
uh,
sense to tell their stories whenever it's like, maybe it's been so far apart that people might be forgetting them that like, it's okay, maybe it's time to
but
tell their stories.
he is such a popular
Oh yeah,
person.
he
Still
created the
super
whole
streamed
entire
and
hip
stuff.
hop air type of stuff. Um,
I mean, he's like a pop king. I don't know.
yeah.
It's just one of those things where I'm not interested in this film. I don't know why they need it. People would just go listen to their music that tells the story of their life anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to
Why
see
do we need a How to Train Your Dragon remake?
money.
Uh,
It's all about the money, money,
so,
money. So
but I mean, delaying for the Oscars, I don't know, like, do you think this movie could be nominated for any Oscar form?
maybe I don't know.
You know,
Like I said, I don't know these films well enough to be somebody who goes, this will be Oscar worthy. I know that in the past, like the guy from Queen,
the
did really well.
Bohemian Rhapsody film, yeah.
Yeah, the Rocket Man film did
I
really
actually
well.
like that one. That was actually is a good movie.
I
And
mean,
so,
there's been some good ones where they've done a really good. The Bob Marley one, right, was
are we
popular.
are we getting that? Isn't that one with Timothy Chalamet that's coming out this year? Or is that no? That's Bob Dylan. That's
Bob
not Bob.
Dylan.
Yeah,
No, the Bob
yeah,
Marley one's the other one.
yeah.
So, they're just, I don't know. Those people already existed, are really good at singing and whatnot. Do they need actors playing them? I have no idea. Um, I would rather do historical figures instead, but that's just my thought process. Like people that were dead hundreds of years ago,
Yeah.
we could,
It's just you're saying that they haven't been gone for too long to tell their story.
not even that. It just is weird. Like the person died, 20 years ago, and now we're not 20, but you know what I mean. And now
Oh
we're
yeah, you're saying like if it was like 100 years from now, then it's like okay, maybe make a movie about them.
maybe 50 years. I don't know. Like it
Yeah.
just makes more sense to make. It's just interesting to me.
Well,
But
yeah, there's a little bit of different well, like historical films a little bit different. You see you kind of look at movies differently whenever it depending on the subject. War films is the way so we don't make the same mistakes over and over again, and we also tell stories of those people that went through the tragic war. And so there's a little bit more of a different heart take here, but here's a little I don't I'm not a big fan of pop
I just don't like
anyways.
biopics, so just not my thing.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
and I but yeah. Let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Speaking of the Oscars, Cohen O'Brien has been announced to be the one to host the Oscars. I think this is actually a really good pick.
I just I feel like they're all the same.
Well,
They,
yeah, but like
the one that
this is better than getting Jimmy Kimmel again.
oh
So
gosh, he is not funny. Um, so here's the thing. I think they should go on a tangent and like they should get better. Okay, so let's
well, the
look
problem
through
is no one
this.
wants to do the Oscars. That's the biggest issue.
So who has hosted? Okay, Jimmy
Hugh
Kimmel.
Jackman,
Okay, uh, Amy Schumer, Wanda Sykes, Regina Hall.
which
Not good.
I remember you saying that that one was not good.
Jimmy Kimmel, Chris Rock has done it.
Yeah, well, you can't forget that.
Neil Patrick Harris, Ellen DeGeneres, Seth MacFarlane, Billy Crystal, James Franco, and Anne Hathaway, Steve Martin. I love Steve Martin. Like all the people on here, I'm like, meh. Steve Martin, I really like. So,
Neil
but
Patrick Harris I don't remember watching when was his Oscar? When did he host?
I don't.
Does it not say it on there?
Neil Patrick Harris
Yeah.
was 2015.
Okay. I didn't want the Oscars that
But
year.
here's the
He might have
interesting
been
thing about
fun.
it. In 2013, the viewers were 40 million
Yeah.
in the US. In 2014, it was 43 million. Then it was 37, 34, 33, 26, 29, 23, 10, 16, 18, 19. They're getting half the viewership that they were 10 years ago.
Well,
I
that was
just don't
also
think people
cable.
care. Yeah, but I still just don't think people
Yeah.
care as much. It peaked in 1998, it looks like, with 55 million viewers. And that
Did
was the
it?
year the Titanic won.
Yeah. Didn't it go back up last year though? Didn't the viewership went back up?
Yeah, 1.5 million. Uh,
So it went to 20 million? Is that what?
yeah, it went from 18.7 to 20. But I
Hmm.
mean, even then, there's more people alive now and nobody cares. So
Well, it's
the
because the Oscars are not evolving. They're still the same as they were back in the 1990s. They were like they haven't evolved in more than a decade. They won't accept films because of their stupid rules that they have that are actually very tedious in some ways. Like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's like documentary or whatever is not going to be in the nominated for the Oscars because of some rule that they didn't know about that just was added this year, and because the Oscars didn't make a big announcements about it, and so I think in general the Oscars. I mean, the Academy is way worse. The Academy is like a different nightmare. But like the Oscars are like they need to start accepting a little bit more broader films, like maybe superhero films, like horror films. Like those need to get a little bit more into the Oscars to get more viewership, and they don't want to do that.
I just think they should go with somebody
Video game
different.
adaptations, which I mean, it's kind of I don't think you want to nominate Borderlands, but um, so
Oh, it's so good. Maybe they
yeah.
should have a category for the worst received.
You know what? I think you get more people to watch that. If like,
Yeah,
the Oscars.
like the saggies or whatever those things are called. The
Yeah.
losing the I forgot what they're called. But
Do
no,
those have do those have more viewerships than the Oscars?
I have no idea.
But
What I will say though is that I don't think it matters who. I just think people think that that uh, unfortunately
they get
Hollywood
better
is
hosts.
out of touch. The hosts are lame, and nobody wants to watch them complain or talk about. My favorite was the Golden Globes when what's his face said, "Thank your God," and just move on. It was
Yeah.
Ricky
I
Gervais. Nobody cares.
yeah, like I believe it was yeah, there's a couple of actors that won't even give a speech. They'll just get on stage, take their word and walk. And they'll be
Good
like,
for them.
yeah.
Cool. Kudos. You won an award. You're worth millions of dollars, and you're pretty out of touch with most people. That's how people view it, unfortunately. And I'm not saying that from my perspective because I really don't care what they do. But I know a bunch of people that don't watch those award shows because they're like, save the planet, as they're flying on their private jet and killing,
Yeah.
carbon emissions. You're like,
Maybe
okay.
maybe
But
you should sell some more of those planes and boats before you say any of that. But you know what? I get your point. So I don't know. I think Conan O'Brien is a good pick after the years that we've had over the hosts that we've gotten. I mean, like the past 20 like past like five Oscars. It's been just Jimmy Kimmel, like literally like back to back, just
oh, I don't like
so
Jimmy Kimmel. He's not funny. I don't think I've ever found him funny.
I
So
I find some of his stuff funny, but not anymore. I don't like the new stuff that he like his new jokes aren't funny. Same as Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon has lost his touch. He's not really funny anymore. And a lot of these like, TV hosts, they just bring these actors out on their stage to just like, almost like embarrass them because they find it funny in some way. And but yeah. I
we'll see. Drop. I want to see if people can drop in the comments who they think should be host in the future, whether it's somebody we've seen before or not seen. Drop who you think would be a really great host.
I would have gone with the Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds route. Like have them double host because like for one, they're not getting nominated for any Oscars. They're the most popular people right now on the planet. Like,
Um,
why not? Like,
no, you're right.
I think they would have gotten a bigger um boost for the Oscars than Cohen O'Brien. And
Hmm.
so, but yeah, let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Moving on to our final topic. Fallout Season 2 adds how you say his name?
Macaulay Culkin
Yes, to the cast.
or Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from Home Alone, which is very interesting. I never finished the first season. I only watched for the first
it was really
episode.
good. I
Yeah,
finished it and I liked it. Um, I like the cinematography and the coloring and everything is great.
yeah. This is
So I think he's a great addition. We
th-
haven't really obviously seen him in a lot of things in a while, so
I didn't
um,
notice if they announced what character he's playing. Do you know what character he's playing?
I did not. I wasn't paying attention, but here, let me see.
Because I don't know anything about the Fallout games, so the Fallout show is kind of like my first like introduction to that, really.
No one has come or commenting, but Culkin is said to be playing a crazy genius type character. That's all it says. So I don't know who that could potentially be, but Moises Arias, who was in obviously like Disney Channel, he's in it, and I thought he did a really good job. So why not give Macaulay, a call or Macaulay him to be on the show?
Yeah,
Puns. Who doesn't
yeah.
love puns? So
That's-
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how that happens. But kudos to him. I know that he's now married to Brenda Song as of like 2017 or 18 or something.
hmm.
So kudos to him.
Well, I
And
haven't seen him in much. I like Home Alone is like the biggest thing that is known for, but after
well,
that,
he was a child
well,
actor,
yeah.
right? So let's
And
see what
this
else he was in.
this could revive his career if he really wants to spread his
I don't think
wings
it was
more.
ever lost. I just don't think it was as popular. Like he was obviously extremely. So he's been in a few things.
Yeah, smaller things.
2019, 2022. I don't recognize any of these things.
Yeah.
But kudos to him if he does really, really well. I'm excited for him to be great. I
I
always think of him as like My Girl, Richie Rich. Those are like the two films. Home
yeah.
Alone. Those are the films that I think of him as. But if he does really well, kudos. Give him more acting gigs. I like him.
I want them to make a Home Alone reference because this is set like years in the future. So make a Home Alone reference of like, like, hey, don't you look like that kid from that one movie? And next thing you know, they make a sequence out of that. Do that.
Yeah.
So
So, but it'll be good. I'm
yeah.
interested. I don't think there's anything. I don't have a lot to say about him just because we really haven't seen him in a lot. So it's hard to really say like how is it going to be received? How well is it going to do?
Well, aren't they
No idea.
filming? Aren't they filming right now? Like season two?
Yeah, I
I
thought so.
I heard
And
something. So we might get season two literally like next year, which good because if you're only going to put out like 8 episodes for a season, I expect you to be able to push out more seasons then. And if you're not going to do like 20 episodes a season. But even
yeah,
then, back then we would get like literally like a season every year of a show continuing with 20 episodes because they used to film these episodes while they were airing at the same time. So they can also slightly script changes to the show if they needed to, if a character is not being received well or not. And so but
it'll be good.
that's not the times anymore. So if it does come out next year, I'll definitely do a commentary series on Fall because I do want to finish the show.
Yeah.
I did like that first episode. I just don't know why I never went back to it. I don't know why. I think
Well,
there's
now you
just
have reason to go
I
back to
I
it.
have go reasons to go back to it. Like I have reasons to watch Game of Thrones now. So yeah, but that's all of our topics today. Less a little bit to talk about, but roughly around the same time. I think we started around like about 2:10 um talking about this.
Yeah,
So
there were a lot of good, interesting things. So I'm excited to see what comes forward, moving, with the next month or so, and
yeah.
we'll go from there.
Yeah. So remember, guys, next week, that's when the audio commentary is dropping for the Edge of Sleep. Make sure to go check that out and go watch the show at the same time while listening to that. The best way I can say to do that is watch the show on the laptop so you can pull Spotify up or Apple Podcasts up on your laptop and you can adjust the volume however you want and watch it that way at the same time. I think having two different audio source might be a little bit difficult to do. So go check. So remember next week, Spotify on the Big Talk with Austin or Apple Podcast. Check that out. Anyway, guys, thank you much for watching all this way through. If you guys are listening to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, thank you very much. Let us know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below on all these topics. And but yeah, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye,
Have a
guys.
good one.